Hey, this is Alpha 3 goes to Matterhorn part 2. We're actually past the Matterhorn and we are on our way back to Ceres Labati. And here you can see where we fly along. We are east of the Valpelline Valley. This is the Valpelline Stausee, the Valpelline Lake in front of us. And from here it's quite clear where to go. We go back to the Aosta Valley. Like in Alpha 3 goes to Matterhorn part 1, I try to explain a little bit why I choose the flight path, how I made my decisions, and just to take you a little bit more into the flight. From the last video I got some positive comments, so I try to take you into the French Alps again on the way back. And here actually we fly to the Aosta Valley. I think this is the cloud above the Mary, usually the good spot, as I told you before, if you want to cross the Aosta Valley. The Aosta Valley is quite a wide valley, so you need a little bit of altitude in order to reach the other side high enough. In our case, I was speculating to get maybe into the wave layer the clouds looked a little bit like, so my plan actually was to try to get into the wave layer here, and this cloud here was my intended goal. This cloud looked to me like a rotor cloud, and I wanted to go under this cloud and try to get as high as possible, and from there on this is the best spot if you want to enter into the wave system. Like if you pick the rotor cloud, you go as high as possible under this cloud and then you go against the wind and try to get into the laminar flow. And we just see how this works now. The lift was really strong underneath that cloud, so that was a good sign. And so the goal was to get as high as possible under this rotor cloud. This is our Aosta here. And have a look at these clouds over there. This is maybe interesting because if the wind is really strong, the wind is shaping the clouds, and sometimes this is an indication of maybe wave activity. So let's have a closer look here. We stop it here, and if you look at these clouds, you can imagine the wind coming from the left side, brushing the clouds a little bit, forming the clouds, and this is how clouds look like if there's a strong wind current flowing over the clouds. So to me it really looked like that there is a wave action, and this is why I tried to enter the wave layer here. So now I'm close to the cloud base. Really helpful is the wind indicator. If you have a system like this, it's pointing out the wind in real time, and for me it's really helpful if I know where the wind is coming from. So here I'm going directly into the wind in order to get into the wave layer. There's not much sink, so that was a good sign. I'm not in the laminar flow yet. I turned a little bit towards the clouds over there and decided to turn against the wind again and see if I could reach the laminar flow. And there it is. This is how we got into the wave layer here. It's quite often that it starts a little bit soft, and the goal is then to explore the wind field and try to find the lift. The wind indicator is a good helper, and here you can see we are established in the wave. We have about 2 meters and trying to explore the wind field to get even better lift in the wave. So we are looking at the Mont Blanc towards Courmayeur.
Wo habt ihr die Welle? Direkt über der Dora Baltea am Nordende, also über dem Fluss am Nordende von Aosta.
Always magic being in the wave. A little bit later, Victor 9 was also quite high in the wave, and we met up here for a little photo shooting. So I approached Victor 9, careful from behind. To get some good air-to-air pictures. And this is Alpha 3, the incredible LS5. So, and after we reached the ceiling, this is flight level 175 in that area. We turned south. We had no problems with the bird protection area around Gran Paradiso because we were so high, we were above that area. So to the right you could see a little bit to the Modane Valley, and another big valley on the left side, actually behind the insert, it's the Susa Valley. And from here it was quite clear where to go. We had good clouds coming up. We were still above the clouds, but soon to get back into the thermal area. So in front of us to the left is the Susa Valley. We're going back to Bardonecchia. Quite comfortable to cross this area in this altitude, so that was easy for us. So from here on, actually we had the idea, because the clouds were really reaching into the Po area, maybe to follow these clouds into the Piedmont. You can see the cloud street here, Victor 9 in front, and we were going to the Po basin. Usually you don't have clouds here, but things didn't work out as planned. The cloud street looked really good, but we couldn't get much lift over there, and we got lower and lower close to the Italian border, and we had to turn around, actually, as you can see it here. In this area you have to make a decision, because if you go over the Italian border into the Po basin and you get too low there, you don't come back. And we wanted to stay safe to the airfield of Saint-Crepin, and so we turned around here and tried to find some energy lines underneath these clouds. It's the same cloud street, and you can see it here on the picture. This is where we turned around, and we were actually going for the Bar de Secrin. These are the peaks on the horizon, trying to find a good energy line underneath this cloud street. This cloud street looked much better than it was, so we could maintain altitude here, but actually we didn't get to the cloud base. We got lower and lower as we came to the Bar de Secrin, so it was a good decision to turn back here and fly along this beautiful clouds here with Victor 9. And just before we reached the Bar de Secrin, in the area of the Tête d'Amont, we really run into a big lift here. This is actually where the Cloud Street started. It looked to me that at the beginning of the Cloud Street there were good lift, and later on in the Cloud Street further to the east it was hard to get any lift, especially if you were a little bit lower. And here we are back at the cloud base. You can see on the left side here the Bar de Secrin, and you can see the glacier of the Bar de Secrin, and this is where we wanted to go. We wanted to go to the Bar de Secrin and then go onto the Parcours Royale and go down south as far as possible before we go back on our final glide to Serres-la-Bâtie. So here we are approaching the glacier, quite spectacular actually, the glacier of the Bar de Secrin. You can see the sand from the Sahara. It came in spring with the snow, and as the snow melted now in summer, the Sahara sand appeared again. So here we enter the Parcours Royale. This is a corridor along the main ridge from the Bar de Secrin straight to the south, and quite spectacular views always on Parcours Royale. This is the view into the Briançonnais, into the valley of Briançon.
So, heute, was soll ich sagen? Heute ist eigentlich irgendwie der Jackpot. Matterhorn, Welle über Aosta, jetzt noch der Parcours Royale in totalen Luxusbedingungen. Also, bitte irgendwie sprachlos. Wahnsinn.
A speechless pilot here. Yeah, we had cloud streets again, clouds everywhere. We could use the energy lines here. I didn't have to make one single turn for thermaling for the last 165 kilometers. I just went down to the Coupe and back actually to the final glide from the parcours. So that was quite impressive. 160 kilometers without thermaling, just riding along the energy lines. Here I'm already at the parcours, still down south. The turning point for me on that day was the Coupe. This is the mountain over there and on the horizon line. The cloud in front of the Coupe, this is the Cheval Blanc, the white horse. And perfect conditions actually. So here I already turned back and now I'm flying along the parcours. This is what you do usually, fly along the ridge lines up to the north again. The parcours was still working really good, a lot of energy in the parcours, so I could ride along rather fast in a very impressive evening or afternoon light. next mountain on the parcours is the Tête d'Estrop. This is the mountain underneath the cloud. So there you can see the end of the parcours. The mountain at the end of the parcours is the Domeuse, and this is the mountain where I usually turn left for Ceres-la-Bâtie in order to make my final glide from the Domeuse to Ceres-la-Bâtie. You have still 55 kilometers to go. Usually that's enough if the wind is not too strong from the west. On that day it was not a problem. So here we are. This is Alpha 3 on final approach in Ceres-la-Bâtie, runway 18. As you can see, still a bit of wind from the right side. Also in this situation, good to have the live wind indicator. Yeah, what can I say? It was a great day, a wonderful flight. Thanks for being with me, and I hope to see you back on my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.